Ladies and gentlemen, the foundation of any thriving society rests on the pillars of equality, justice, and freedom. Among these, the freedom of women is not just a matter of principle, it is a prerequisite for progress. In the annals of history, women have been the silent architects of change. They have nurtured families, led revolutions, and shaped civilizations. Yet, for centuries, their voices were muted, their potential confined, and their freedoms denied. Today, as we stand on the precipice of progress, it is our moral and collective duty to ensure that women's freedom is no longer a privilege but a fundamental right. Women's freedom is not just about breaking societal chains, it is about unleashing the boundless power of half of humanity. When women are free to learn, they become scientists who cure diseases and educators who inspire generations. When they are free to lead, they become visionaries who govern nations and entrepreneurs who transform economies. When they are free to speak, they become storytellers who weave the fabric of culture and advocates who champion justice. Yet, even in this modern age, barriers persist. Patriarchal mindsets, gender-based violence, and systemic discrimination continue to stifle the potential of millions of women. These barriers are not just a woman's burden, they are society's failure. For when a woman is silenced, a generation is robbed of her wisdom. When a girl is denied education, the world loses a future innovator. When a mother is oppressed, humanity is deprived of her strength. Freedom is not a zero-sum game. Empowering women does not diminish anyone else, it elevates everyone. Studies have shown that societies with greater gender equality are more prosperous, peaceful, and resilient. When women are free to contribute, the entire society thrives. This is not ideology, this is fact. But freedom must be more than a word, it must be an action. It begins with education, where every girl is given the tools to dream without limits. It demands economic empowerment, where women are paid equally and have the resources to build their futures. It requires legal reforms to protect women's rights and ensure their safety. And it calls for a cultural shift, where women are respected not for what they look like but for who they are. To achieve this, we must all be allies. Men, this is your fight too. Stand beside the women in your lives, champion their ambitions, and challenge the injustices they face. Women, know that your worth is immeasurable and your voice is irreplaceable. Speak, strive, and soar, for you are the heartbeat of humanity. Let us be the generation that breaks the chains of inequality, that tears down the walls of discrimination, and that paves the way for a future where every woman is free to live, love, and lead. The freedom of women is not just a cause, it is a revolution. And this revolution will shape a world that is not only fairer but infinitely brighter. Freedom is the oxygen of progress. Denying it to women suffocates the very essence of human potential. Women are not asking for more, they are demanding what is theirs by birthright: equality, opportunity, and respect. These are not gifts to be granted by society. They are rights that must be safeguarded and upheld by all of us. Think of the young girl who dreams of becoming a doctor, but is told her place is at home. Think of the woman whose ideas are dismissed in boardrooms, her voice drowned out by prejudice. Think of the countless women around the world who fight battles unseen, for safety, dignity, and recognition. Their struggles are not isolated, they are universal. And their victories are victories for all of humanity. Women's freedom is not an abstract concept. It is a tangible force that shapes every facet of society. It fuels economies, strengthens democracies, and fosters innovation. When women are free, families are healthier, communities are stronger, and nations are more stable. Every step forward for women is a giant leap forward for the world. But freedom must go beyond mere slogans and symbolic gestures. It must be rooted in action. Freedom means access to education for every girl, without fear of violence or societal barriers. It means creating workplaces where women are not just present but empowered, where glass ceilings are shattered, and equal pay is the norm, not the exception. It means women walking the streets without fear, their safety guaranteed by laws that are enforced and respected. True freedom also demands a transformation in how we think and speak about women. It means breaking free from centuries of stereotypes that have confined women to roles that do not reflect their infinite potential. A woman is not defined by her appearance, her marital status, or her ability to bear children. She is defined by her dreams, her determination, and her humanity. And let us not forget, women's freedom is not just about individual triumphs, it is about systemic change. It requires governments to legislate for equality, corporations to champion diversity, and societies to challenge the deep-seated biases that perpetuate injustice. It is a collective responsibility, and every one of us has a role to play. This is not just a moment, it is a movement. A movement that calls for courage in the face of resistance, hope in the face of despair, and unity in the face of division. It is a movement that recognizes that when one woman rises, she paves the way for countless others to rise with her. To those who still doubt the necessity of women's freedom, let us ask this: how can a society claim to be free when half its population is not? How can we hope to achieve our fullest potential as a civilization when the voices of women are silenced, their dreams deferred, and their rights denied? The answer is simple: we cannot. It is not enough to celebrate the achievements of a few women who have broken through barriers. It is our duty to ensure that no barriers remain. Every girl, every woman, everywhere must have the freedom to choose her path, to chase her ambitions, and to live her life on her own terms. This is not just a vision for women, it is a vision for humanity. A vision of a world where equality is not a dream but a reality, where freedom is not conditional but universal, and where progress is not measured by the privileges of a few but by the opportunities of all. The time for hesitation is over. The time for action is now. Let us stand together, women and men, young and old, across every nation, culture, and creed. Let us raise our voices, our hearts, and our hands for a future where women's freedom is not just a hope but an unshakable truth. Because when women are free, humanity soars. And that, my friends, is a future worth fighting for. Freedom for women is not just an issue of gender, it is an issue of humanity. It speaks to the kind of world we want to create, the legacy we want to leave behind, and the values we hold sacred. A world where women are free is a world where justice prevails, opportunity abounds, and progress knows no bounds. Think for a moment about the ripple effects of a single empowered woman. When a woman is educated, she educates her children, lifting entire generations out of ignorance and poverty. When a woman earns a fair wage, she invests in her family and her community, sparking cycles of economic growth. When a woman leads, she brings diverse perspectives and innovative solutions to the table, creating a more inclusive and equitable society. The empowerment of women is not just a benefit, it is a catalyst for transformation. But let us also confront the harsh truths. Women are still the victims of systemic inequality, oppression, and violence. Millions of girls are denied education simply because they are born female. Women in countless workplaces face discrimination, harassment, and unequal pay. Across the globe, women bear the brunt of unpaid labor, societal expectations, and cultural constraints that limit their potential. These injustices are not isolated, they are interconnected. They are symptoms of a system that has, for too long, valued tradition over transformation and prejudice over progress. And yet, despite these obstacles, women continue to rise. They rise as leaders, as innovators, as warriors for change. They rise with courage, with resilience, and with an unyielding belief in their right to freedom. But they should not have to rise alone. Women's freedom is not just their fight, it is humanity's fight. It is a call to action for governments to legislate for gender equality and enforce laws that protect women from violence and exploitation. It is a demand for businesses to create environments where women can thrive, free from discrimination and bias. It is a plea for communities to challenge harmful traditions and embrace a culture of respect and inclusion. And above all, it is a call to each of us, as individuals, to examine our own beliefs, words, and actions. Do we support women's ambitions, or do we unconsciously perpetuate stereotypes that hold them back? Do we listen to women's voices, or do we dismiss their experiences as less valid? Do we stand up against sexism and injustice, or do we remain silent in the face of inequality? Change begins with awareness, but it cannot stop there. We must act. We must advocate. We must lead. Each of us has the power to create a ripple of change, a ripple that, when joined with others, can become a wave that transforms the world. To the women who fight tirelessly for their freedom, you are not alone. Your strength inspires us, your courage moves us, and your determination reminds us of the power of the human spirit. To the men who stand as allies, your support is invaluable, your voice is needed, and your commitment is a testament to the truth that